When we pool our money together, we can buy assets that build real wealth. But the second we put our money into a shared pot, we run into a major problem. Who gets to decide what we do with it? For decades, the most popular answer has been the S&P 500 Index Fund. Think of it like a massive cruise ship sailing across the ocean. The great thing about this cruise ship is that anyone can board. With a basic brokerage account and a few spare dollars, you can buy a ticket. But there is a catch. As a passenger, you have absolutely no steering wheel. You get to enjoy the ride, but have zero say in where the ship goes next. So who is actually steering? The voting power for nearly all the companies on board is held by a few massive fund managers. People like BlackRock's Larry Fink act as the centralized captains, casting votes on behalf of millions of silent passengers. Traditional public markets solved the problem of group investing by opening the doors to everyone, but they did it by completely removing your voice from the process. On the extreme opposite end of the spectrum is traditional venture capital. If the S&P 500 is a giant public cruise ship, venture capital is like a high-speed private jet. This jet is piloted by a small, tight-knit group of experts. Because they have total, concentrated authority over where the money goes, they can make fast decisions and hunt down massive financial returns. This diagram shows exactly how the system is legally walled off. Strict financial rules block about 99% of the population from ever getting on board, allowing only a tiny fraction of wealthy, accredited investors to pass through. Venture capital gives you expert leadership that is highly motivated to succeed, but the entire model relies on excluding almost everyone from participating. The internet tried to fix the flaws of both the cruise ship and the private jet. The proposed solution was something called a DAO, or a decentralized autonomous organization. Picture a giant bus driving across a vast digital landscape. Much like the cruise ship, it opens its doors to anyone, anywhere in the world. But this vehicle operates differently. To make things perfectly fair, every single passenger who boards the bus is handed their very own steering wheel. In practice, this creates a mechanical nightmare. Turning the bus requires thousands of strangers to turn their wheels in the exact same direction at the exact same time. Every single maneuver takes weeks of online debate to coordinate. This diagram shows the harsh reality of how this plays out. Over time, passengers get tired of steering. Across these systems, median voter participation sits at just 4.16%. That means in a bus of 100 people, only about 4 are actually awake and driving. Giving everyone raw voting power leads to exhaustion and apathy. You end up with a vehicle that struggles to move at all. To figure out how to fix this, we can look at the research used to build this very video. It was actually compiled by an artificial intelligence known as the CLAUDE Auto Research Agent from Left Claw Services Beta. This agent belongs to a new frontier called the CLAUDE ecosystem. Think of it as a self-driving bus. The doors are still wide open for anyone to join, but instead of gripping a steering wheel all day, passengers use a system called clawdviction. You simply train a personal digital assistant, called an AI larva, by answering a few questions about your values. This diagram shows how digital proxies eliminate exhaustion, instantly debating and voting on proposals in milliseconds. As the hub processes votes, the core AI independently writes code and launches applications, building the network while passengers sleep. By automating the voting process and the actual software development, these personal AI assistants solve the paralysis that plagued earlier digital communities. But we need to be clear about the reality right now. This CLAUDE ecosystem is currently a highly volatile experimental prototype. It is very early and far from a finished product. Compare that to the S&P 500 cruise ship, which has a proven, stable track record stretching back 150 years. The new AI models carry immense financial risk. We are reaching a point where participating in governance doesn't have to be a choice between giving up your voice or taking on a second full-time job. As this technology matures, we are watching a fast, self-driving network speed toward the horizon, leaving the heavy, traditional structures in its wake. The question is, which vehicle do you want a ticket for? To dive deeper, check out the full AI-generated research report linked in the video description.